This week, the price of a subscription for World of Warcraft increased in Argentina in two separate ways. First, the subscription fee went up from 650 pesos to 12,000 pesos. Secondly, Battle.net will only charge players in USD going forward.
But that's not all. Argentina also has a 60% currency exchange tax when using a credit card, so paying for a WoW sub has just become very expensive.
To simplify everything, a WoW sub was 650 pesos, and now it's almost 20,000 pesos, which is like $24 a month.
And considering the inflation of the peso, Argentina, are you okay? I don't think you guys are.
Anyway, welcome to Necro News, the show where we cover the hottest gaming news from the last week.
This week we'll be covering a contest with a very unusual prize, a man trading his dog for a TF2 hat, and a lot more.
So subscribe to the channel and enable notifications to keep up to date on the best gaming has to offer.
The PlayStation 5 is apparently in its midlife according to Senior VP of Sony Financial Group Naomi Matsuoka. She stated that Sony will be aiming to optimize sales on the consoles by focusing on third-party support and revenue from subs.
Despite this, Sony expects that hardware sales will decrease. Naturally. Honestly though, you know what? Let's talk for a moment.
Yeah?
For everyone at home, and Ellie included, can you list all the PS5 exclusives? Here, let me help. What the f do you mean Stellar Blade is PS5 exclusive?
Haha. Guess we're getting a PS5.
I guess so. I mean, we need one. The PS4 sounds like a jet engine anyway. Let this be a lesson to you, Sony. If you want people to buy your console, just make good games. Because now I have to buy a PS5.
I don't think they care.
I know, it took them 5 years to get 5 games worth buying.
Well, Disco Elysium is a wildly popular game, though I have no idea what it is.
The air pressure told you to take your pants off in my studio?
It's received many awards and tons of praise. The developer is Zaum, Z-A/U-M, I don't know how to pronounce that, but anyway. They're in a rough spot if reports are to be believed.
First, Zaum has reported that a standalone expansion for Disco Elysium, named X7, has been cancelled. Ed Tomaszewski, nailed it, president of Zaum, stated that it was going to take a lot more time and effort to develop that game, at least 1 or 2 more years, which according to him was even more time than the original game took.
It was also reported that the sequel of the game was also cancelled in 2022, which coincides with when the key creatives of the game left the company that same year. Who would have thought that 2 of the main developers of the game leaving the studio would have disastrous effects?
In fact, Argo Tulik, the last writer from the original Disco Elysium game still at Zaum, thinks that it will forever stay a one-game studio. That's depressing.
And probably true, as development on their sci-fi RPG, codenamed P1, has had development pause for some unknown reason.
When you think about a narrative-focused game about a bunch of cosmic witches, what comes to mind? Maybe people meditating at the center of the universe, or all-powerful summoners of eldritch abominations. Maybe Nicolas Cage.
How about a big fat chin-chin? Well, that's what Deconstruct Team, developers of the Cosmic Wheel Sisterhood, thought of to celebrate the release of the game earlier this year. Cause you know, nothing says I'm a strong independent female who don't need no man, like impaling yourself with a 10-inch Abramar the Forbidden Behemoth All-American Whopper Dong.
By following the studio on Twitter and retweeting the original tweet, as well as creating a tarot card with the theme of desire, 3 players will win the silicone tube snake to do whatever they want with, as well as a do-it-yourself card kit.
So I guess we're entering for the memes.
What are you gonna do with a clunge plunger?
It looks like it makes a good mallet. Or like, if there's an intruder.
That was easy.
On February 12th, Twitter user Sir Dapper posted a screenshot where Team Fortress 2 trader Orange Zest was attempting to buy an unusual polar pullover for 5,450 keys from another trader named Gummy. That's around 8,000 USD.
If you don't know what an unusual item is, they're the rarest items in TF2 and only drop at a debated rate of 0.66% from loot boxes.
It's not unusual.
How is that debated?
Because we don't know. because we can only assume that that's the drop rates. They've never actually put out their drop rates.
Anyway, spend enough money and or get lucky enough and you too can be the proud owner of some item with a really bad visual effect that makes it easier to spot in battle. Naturally, since these are rare, they fetch for a high price.
As you can see in the screenshot, this case is no different. And like any normal unusual trades, there were negotiations. But then Orange Zest posted a picture of his dog and offered it as part of the trade. That's right, this guy offered up his 10-year-old Shih Tzu named Sky for a hat.
Anyway, Sky was on the table and initially valued at 500 keys, but then lowered to 450 keys at the end of the trade. With each key being roughly around $1.50, Sky's value equated to about $670. So, Orange Zest is now the proud owner of the Burning Polar Pullover, and Gummy got a new dog.
Well, what if I told you that wasn't the whole story?
Okay.
So, for some context. First, Orange Zest and Gummy know each other in real life, and they make sarcastic and stupid jokes to each other all the time. However, this was a serious offer and a decision made with Sky's best intentions in mind.
Okay.
According to the post on backpack.tf forums, Orange Zest has had an incredibly busy life, and when his family moved overseas, he slowly had less time to properly take care of the 10-year-old pupper, whose health was also starting to decline with age. So Gummy, who has taken care of the pupper multiple times, is familiar with the dog and they get along, so it works out.
Okay. I can get behind that. That's cute.
Yeah, so it is a good story after all.
Ta-da!
This is Sparkit, a pal from Palworld that, in my opinion, bears zero resemblance to any Pokemon. And this is a shirt logo created by Reddit user BitPixel. A shirt that Nintendo issued a DMCA notice over and had taken down.
The only thing that we can assume happened is that Nintendo saw the shirt and immediately assumed it was Umbreon, which I can sort of see, but you'd think they'd have the foresight to verify what it was before taking it down with a DMCA request.
Especially since, according to DMCA section 512 paragraph F, any company that does a false DMCA claim would be responsible for damages and costs. So Nintendo may be looking at a hefty fine if BitPixel decides to lawyer up. And I promise you, someone will do this one pro bono.
Very rarely does a DMCA takedown have any wiggle room for the person that receives it, but in this case it does seem like Nintendo is probably in the wrong, so, you know, good job Nintendo.
This week, there is no Buried Alive banger because I've been too busy doing my part to defeat the robot Scourge in Malevolan Creek.
That's right, while the fresh meat decide to be sissy boys and squish bugs for their mommies, real men are knee-deep in the shit, fighting the automatons. True democracy will never be spread if we only focus on one side.
So what excuse do you have? Do you not want to show a woman what a real man you are? Do you not love Super Earth?
If you're ready to stop being a little boy playing with ants in your backyard, sack up, gear up, and drop on Malevolan Creek. We'll scrap their metal to seal our resolve.
This week is pretty heavy-handed for games. Last Epoch and Splatoon 3's DLC comes out, and while we don't typically showcase DLC coming out, Ellie might be streaming it. Maybe.
To be determined. Speaking of streams, we'll be taking a small break. The Booster will be doing another music stream and possibly another game stream, but we are going to try to focus on more video content this week, so keep an eye out.
Well, that's it for this week's Necro News. If you like what we do here and want to keep up to date, consider subscribing to the channel.
And if you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching, and a very special thank you to our channel members. If you like our content and want to support us, consider joining.
We're also trying to raise funds for Ellie's Live 2D model. If you want to help, the link to the coffee is down below.
And that's all for this week, so until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye.